is one of the herbs that have been used against us to imprison our people, but it is also something worldwide. Marijuana, as them call it, or ganja, worldwide, which is something that sacramentally we could use it to begin giving ourselves an economical base.
Yeah,
So we want a church. Mhm.
okay. We call it
We want a church system to use. Yeah.
I could understand. I think we have a temple system, a personal temple called Obi.
Yes.
But I know I think in Nigeria, I don't know if it's Yoruba language or Igbo language, but depending on the pronunciation, they call marijuana Igbo too.
Mm.
That's why they
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
the Burner Boy song he was talking about
Hmm. So
Igbo anxiety.
we really want one other type of system. So we can say this is our circle as a churchical state, just like how you have the Ethiopian Orthodox art support. We know is going to use this as our sacrament. They won't be able to stop us from planting when we go through the Ministry of Justice here
Yeah,
in Jamaica.
and
And so now we would.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think in the old days, I think people actually do that. I think they used to use tobacco and they crush it and they snuff it. They call it snuff. They sniff
Yeah.
the tobacco, but I don't. I think the Dogon. I don't know. Some other people use it for sacrament, and there's other. A lot of people use
We
different.
use the ganja, the
Yeah,
marijuana, the
yeah.
marijuana. Yes, we
I
use
think
that one. Yeah.
I think they use different leaves and mushrooms more in
Hmm.
But I've heard of ganja in Africa, but I haven't. I don't can't recall anybody. But there's different plants and herbs. People use for rites of passage and spiritual. It's transcendence. So okay,
We want that
yeah,
church. We want that church system here,
okay.
and I would want to have some branch of it here, connecting to some international organs,
Maybe
which
you
is
call
whether
it a
and
maybe.
I would mind it is in I would mind it is in America or in English in Europe area or Africa.
Yeah.
So if the mother part is there and we have branches here, we could utilize that because the mother one, which is recognized internationally, would now defend us.
I'd say look at the documents because it's not it's just look at the documents and read about because it's not something that needs to be really discussed because it's going to happen.
And
What
here,
is because it's going to be a given because what's going on? The Sahel.
hmm
I don't know if you looked at a Sahel map. Do you understand what?
I've not looked at. I don't. I think I need to do that. I'm going to set up my online thing. That is my Chrome,
Mhm.
my Google account, and my Facebook account,
Yeah.
and my email account, so as to be able to access all these things when you send it to me.
So well, it is just the name. The Sahel is like the strip, but around the Sahara desert. It's a black belt. It's the belt across west to East Africa. Um,
Hmm.
it's a strip of land across west to East Africa. People have been traveling from the Nile to the
Hmm.
Niger for a long time, back to the Arab days and the ancient Egyptian days. So it's saying that basically they're saying they could restructure Africa from east to west Africa into one country.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one or two countries. Igbo land would probably be the headquarters of the second country. So based on the migrations, the Bantu language, and the Biafra, Bida Biafra. So it's like we're restructuring into two countries. So it's like, okay, we'll have a large forum. Now we could talk to Jamaica, and it's going to be tabled. We know Jamaica's the ganja and the hemp. So it's not.
Yes.
We
Yes.
already know that's going to come up. It's just, but right now, it's a giant movement. People don't want to talk about it, but it's gonna. We already know that's gonna come up as a discussion consistently. Agriculture. My thing has been, and I'm working on it. I needed people in the USA to organize, especially where I am in
Hmm.
my city. I talk a
Yes.
lot. A lot of people haven't been forthcoming, or I think. But I think the person I'm talking to, it's a mother and son team. So we'll see. I'm gonna let it rest, and maybe we'll start up again tomorrow But they're going to be the leaders until. And as far as planning and expanding, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm stepping back because the good. It's like dictatorship is when somebody stands and talks and talks and talks and tells people what to do, and then people have short temper for that. So for me to be a good leader, or anybody to be a good leader, we have to step back and see how the replacement does, and then they have to have another
Uh,
replacement, and then they have to. Then you see that it's a system where everybody can be replaced. Nobody's important than the other person. So I'm stepping back
right.
and seeing if they can replace me, and then recruit more people to replace them, so we don't stagnate. And it's just because right now it was me just talking, but if the brother came back out of his situation. So if he can recruit, he's like an hour away from me. If he can recruit in his city and my city and replace me, then that's a sign of progress when I can step back and others replace me.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
I always say to persons that for you to be a good leader, you must be a good follower.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Yes. Yes. It doesn't mean that I have to be leading the organization to make good and positive suggestions, which will be used, our ideas, push across good ideas, which will be used by the leader. Because you see, a good leader will
Mhm.
listen to the floor member and understand what the floor member is trying to say, even if
Exactly.
he's not that educated. Yes. All right. So you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
we have learned that through being part of organizations and so forth. We have learned that, and so that is how we look at doing it. So as you
exactly.
say, I may not have to be the top leader, the president or the chairman or whatever. I don't have to be on the executive board to make good suggestion. But if we have positive leaders, they will take the suggestion and be able to utilize it.
And I love this because up to a couple days ago, I just read on Wikipedia the Maroon Council is an institution well known in Jamaica. So it's like, yeah, we have the perfect indigenous parliament right there. So nobody could say that we don't have a model, or we have to go all the way to Africa for a model, and it's hard. It's right there in Jamaica, and so we're going to see to USA, and there'll be some cultural influences from from the Sahel and uh, the Bantu Igbo networks. So it's basically Northern Africa and Southern Africa. As far as the black parts, they're coming together. Just
Yeah, man. You're so right, man.
so yeah, it's coming. What is it going to be? Two people, one person in Florida, one person in the Philadelphia area, and then I want you to establish that connection with them, because a lot of the people
Mm-hmm.
who are on the call are fired up, and
Mm-hmm.
I think when you call on them to produce results, they'll produce results. I can help, but that's going to be our next step to see if they can produce results and organize and set dates. Um,
Yeah.
and the brothers are into the sister and brother, the mother and son are into farming, and I think it's more natural that way. If I step back and people look at the documents and say, "Oh, he's not going to be leading," so it's my turn to expand what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Yes. But
the next
but
step.
that is if they're still following on the positive road, because some person will come on board to get power and such the like in a
Hmm.
recognition, but not going along the pathway that is to lead us to the
Yeah.
right path that we're going. Yeah, and I like that about you, because that is how I have been over the years until poor persons forced me and said to me, say, you what, man? You have to stand up. Because them other people they are so and so. So you have to stand up.
Well,
So
because of how ancient Africa families are, even though it's basically three groups now that we need. One's going to be a test group for Jacksonville, Florida, to see if we can expand in USA.
mhm,
One group that you're in is more USA and Caribbean, and another one is just
mhm.
Africa. So these small groups,
Yeah.
if we actually have the councils across USA and the Caribbean, Africa has councils for thousands of years, chiefs and
Mhm.
things. We have the councils all across the villages, so we never had an outlet where we could say, "This is what the councils of Africa or the Communities League in Africa is saying." Spread it to AME Church, or spread it to Scottstown Maroons, or spread it to this village in Haiti, or spread it to New York City or Florida. We never had those councils set up in the West completely. But now
Yeah,
things are changing in the internet age. So we're gonna see if,
yeah, yeah,
and this is perfect. So I think I'm gonna put you in that group, and then if it starts growing, you're connected to Jamaica secretaries in a larger group. We'll see. It's only at
yeah,
this point. At this point. It's only three groups. So there's the Africa group, there's a USA and
yeah.
Caribbean group, and now I'm gonna add you to a test group in USA to get it started. To see if we can get it
Yeah.
started with two people. But I'm gonna do it probably at midnight, where everybody has a chance to relax and say it's not no rush. I like to do things
Mm-hmm.
at midnight because people can see it's not a rush and they get refreshed in the morning. They have a new perspective. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm going to I'm texting them right now and I have to go to work soon. But I'm gonna add you and the two to a group afterwards, and I'm gonna tell them about I'm gonna share the conversation with them. They have Jamaican
Yeah,
heritage. They have Jamaican heritage too. So
yeah.
flags,
I like
yeah.
the conversation with you, and I
Hmm.
like how your perspective of looking at it. That is
Hmm.
why I called you.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
there was a change in plans where I looked at some of the islands that don't have a maroon council, and I
Mm-hmm.
said it would be, instead of having everybody in the same WhatsApp group, let me reduce the groups, the number of islands, and we just start in the USA and start making things happen. Other islands, if we have it on the ground, the other islands can look at it, and the government can look at it and say, hey, this is our best people to promote this Africa
Yeah.
Jamaica partnership, and Haiti's involved. And I think it needs to be. I needed to reduce it so that it could have a bigger potential where everyone could see it. Because it was a situation where I think if I kept talking to, for example, Saint Kitts and Nevis, I don't think things would move because if you can't. I don't think it could. Maroon Council could be set up if it's only when I make a call after work or something like that. We discuss. I think people have
Mm-hmm.
to make their own time to discuss
Yeah.
what the next move. And if that brother can't doesn't do it as a time commitment, I think moving forward, we just have to put things on the ground. That's all I gotta say. You got to put things on the
Yeah.
ground, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people will model it.
Yeah. Mind you, know, I am not financially stable at the moment
Hmm.
to be able to provide financial backing to some of what we're doing now.
Hmm.
Because I like to put everything, make you know where I am. I
Hmm.
like persons to know where I am. I don't want person to have the idea that, well, all right, this brother might be able to spend such and such. I am not in that position
Yeah,
financially.
that's
But
what
idea wise,
everybody check to check. So I don't. That's why I'm like farming. We don't have that disposable income. We have to. Well, that's part of the next step that we're going to be discussing. The title is going to have financial mechanism. We're going to look at computers and what ways computers make money legally in the USA, and
mhm,
it's a way to do it. It's better if you have a family or family type connection and network around you. Because if you just
right.
sit down in front of a computer and it's one person and you say you're going to save the black race, it's not realistic. But if you have
Hmm.
people around you and they're sharing information
Definitely.
day to day and growing and learning, and it's people with the same mission. Africa's on board. It's a different dynamic, a
That is how
different
it works.
energy.
That is how it works.
Yeah,
That
different
is how it
energy.
works. Yes, that is how it works. Because one of the things, is I like to sit down with persons. I mean, pitch forward an idea and first say, me say then hold on. Me no want to just take what me say. Is there no objection? Because if there is no objection, there is no development.
Yeah,
Persons must can say to me that, well, all right, couldn't we have done it this way or that way, I suppose? And then we begin looking at ways and means differently from my idea. And we now will be able to begin making more positive and stronger way of doing whatsoever we want to do. Coming
yeah,
up with better ideas. Yes.
yeah. Put
So
the
my
brain,
idea, even if I
restructure it.
am
Yeah,
the leader, though must be the right one.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
work.
that is why
Yeah.
I respect what you say, that you're stepping back and allowing others who might come on board. who have better potential or ideas or
Mhm.
credential than you to take it on.
Mhm. Yeah,
It doesn't mean that you are you don't know. When you step back, it makes others who begins taking it on and doing what them doing. Person will say, no, but brother so and so, you may not do a better job, so make we carry him back in place. So you prepare yourself to still take up back the mantle of leadership.
Mhm. I know my
Yes, man.
limitations. I know my limitations as far
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
yeah. So I know my
But
limitations.
one of the thing what happen, you see, even though you are limited with certain aspect of the thing, you could be the right leader who are able to coordinate from the top the
Mhm.
ideas to make it happen.
Yeah, help it get started. Well, it's exciting because several things are happening at once. The Sahel, which is basically northern
Mm-hmm.
Africa, northern Black Africa coming together. Then we have the southern half of Black Africa with the Igbos and the Caribbean connection. So Grenada has that Maroon Islands network, and they're a government with Maroons. Jamaica, we know the history there, but now we're going to see if we can make it positive. Then Haiti, we know the history there. We're trying to make it positive. Where they had the whole island at one point of runaways. So it is what it
Um,
is. It's and then
yeah.
Barbados Haitians are working, and they said they're on board, and they have connections. Where I think it's 300,000 people, the same size of black people in this city. So
Yeah.
I think it's five areas in the Caribbean and Florida together working together. So we'll see. We'll see. It's now it's time to see if it works. But I have to get off the phone and get ready for work. But I'm gonna
I
follow
am
up and
ready. I am ready.
the next forum it's just we haven't talked. It's like Ethiopia, you know. People said the
Mm-hmm.
whole Africa used to be Ethiopia, and it
Yes.
might be true because people are connected by the rivers, the Nile, the Niger, the Congo. Those are the major rivers.
Those are the river which connect Africa or Alp cable land as we
Yeah,
used
you have
to
to
use.
travel. You have to travel
Yeah.
to. You can't you can't drink air or sand. So people had to
Yeah.
travel
Yeah.
the coast and the
And
rivers.
so
So
one of my strong thing, is I like what I see Burkina Faso president is doing on Niger and Mala.
yeah,
So what
yeah,
we want to expand on those because one of the things is otherwise I'm just talking action. Action is why the world has been behind in white economy.
yeah,
The world of what I would say Africans and we are there with him. And you just speaking with you from the other day, I feel that synergy and I want to expand it as best as
yeah.
I can.
I'm going to send it. I'll just finish the document. I'm going to send it. And I'm going to get ready for work. But Nigeria was structured. Well, you see a lot of the tribal fighting. It was
Hmm.
structured. Some of the leaders studied Marcus Garvey, but then they went into politics. But some of the structures of Nigeria is still based on Marcus Garvey. That's why they hide the history and it's right in everybody's face. Like they have the communities that are autonomous and they have their leagues of communities. They have their associations. They have entire states that belong to tribes for studying the culture.
Yeah.
That's why you see the culture is still strong, but it's like a half done project. And then
Yes.
some of the kings were killed even before Marcus Garvey was born. So there was tribal
Yeah.
war that never got resolved. Otherwise, Nigeria would be the same country,
Hmm.
Chad and Sudan.
Yes. Yes.
So they
Yes.
used to I think around the time Haiti was no, it was like the 1800s and 18 to the 1850s. There was wars and all the way from
Yeah.
Nigeria to Sudan, where there were
Hmm.
empires, but a lot of them were negative and conquering each other. But so right
Hmm.
after Sudan, you know what's east of Sudan?
Hmm. Yeah.
Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Nigeria and Ethiopia there's two countries between them in the modern times.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
so the same people. So now you see what the West already knows. They wrote the books, so they know
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just finding out. So the Sahel, that's
Yeah.
Ethiopia to Gambia, and Nigeria is part of
Yeah.
that, and that's why they want to see which tribe could fight the Sahel. And we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to rush it because the Igbos, they don't know their history. They don't know about the Sahel. They're more connected to Congo. So we're trying to do that before 2027. We have to start it now
Mm.
because 2027 around the corner, they're probably going to try to get an Igbo who doesn't
Yes,
know the
man.
Igbo president to say, "Oh, we need democracy, attack the Sahel," and then you're attacking Ethiopia, the Gambia, and starting.
We need what? We need democracy.
Yeah,
We need social democratic socialism. We
yeah.
don't need democracy.
That's the Aspen.
Democracy has
That's that
been
council.
dividing us
Yeah,
and dividing us. Yeah.
that's the Maroon
Democratic
Council.
socialism. Yeah.
Yeah, the social system, Democrat. We have it. We invented it. So
Yeah.
okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna send a picture, but I promise. Well, I like to do things at midnight, so I have to get
Okay.
going. All right,
All right.
all right,
We'll
peace.
talk then.
All
All
right,
right.
peace.